Malawi's constitutional court in the capital Lilongwe saw a strong police deployment on Wednesday. The judges arrived in court under heavy military escort to hear the opposition's bid to annul President Peter Mutharika's recent election victory. Now, tensions have remained high across the country since the outcome of the 21 May election, with the opposition insisting that the poll was rigged. Well, the country has seen citizens take to the streets with more protests scheduled for next week. To give us a sense of what's happening in the country, I'm now joined on the line by Malawian journalist Mabvuto Banda. Mabvuto, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program. Give us a sense of what it's like in Malawi at the moment. We've seen protests recently turning violent and the army deployed on the streets. What's the state of play today?
Yeah, thank you very much, Peter. Yes, there's been a lot of tension since May 21st because the opposition, the two leading opposition leaders, believe that the vote was rigged by the incumbent President Peter Mutharika on 21st May. So since then, there's been quite a lot of show of support for the opposition, and they've also been supported by civil society groups that are leading a lot of demonstrations in the capital, Lilongwe. Last week, they managed to do the demonstrations across the country, actually. Blantyre, the commercial city, which is in southern Malawi, then the main city in northern Malawi, which is in Zuzu, and the capital, Lilongwe, where the two opposition leaders led the demonstrations was quite massive, which was quite a big show of support in Malawi. Unprecedented. It never happens in this country that people go to the streets to protest. It's not in the Malawian blood. And we're seeing that right now, and that is raising a lot of tensions because most people are saying they did not vote for the current government. And the current government has become very unpopular to the days leading to the election. They were very unpopular because of a lot of corruption scandals involving even the president, where, one of the Asian businessmen deposited a check into the account that the self-signatory was the president. So those things have angered a lot of people quite a lot. So this is what is talking up a lot of tension. And then the opposition parties have gone to court, and so far the case looks like it's working into what they want. Because yesterday there was something very interesting. They asked for some full disclosures of IT and IT infrastructure in and out, the logins, the bank statements to some of the data entry, Malawi Electoral Commission data entry officers that they believe must have pocketed money so that they rig the election in favor of the current government. So something interesting is happening in this country, and we're expecting some more demonstrations next week from the 4th to the 5th, because they're trying to push for the resignation of the Electoral Commission chairperson, who's Judge Answer.
All right,
so that's what is going on so far.
All right, so Mabvuto, unprecedented scenes, you say, these protests across the country, and if they take off again next week, the president clearly has never had to deal with anything like this. Could this be something that is going to be difficult for him to overcome? In other words, might he be forced to resign?
Yes, there's a lot of, social media these days. There's a lot of speculation of the president planning to resign, but I don't see it happening at the moment. But what I can tell you is that he's under a lot of pressure. He's supposed to be staying in the capital city, Lilongwe. He's moved back to his vacation home, which is the state house on the lake side, on the lake shore side of Malawi. That's where he is right now. Almost reflecting that he's running away from a lot of tensions that he's seeing. Because in Lilongwe, the central region is a stronghold for the Malawi Congress Party, the main opposition party. So it looks like the president doesn't want to stay here. He just came last week to open parliament, and within 24 hours he went back. So that tells you what's happening around. He's appointed a cabinet already. In parliament, he walked out from his speech, the opening of parliament. We don't even know whether the national budget itself, will be presented in this current sitting of Parliament, because today the Minister of Finance just asked the Parliament to pass a mini budget. So there's a lot of uncertainty going on. So anything could happen actually, because from the way things are going in court, the opposition is very sure that the court will grant this thing in their favor, because they say they have overwhelming evidence of what really happened.
And
so they have a lot of hope in the...
Okay, Mabvuto,
yes.
In your experience, how independent are the courts in terms of delivering key decisions?
No, in the last, all the elections, 2014, they were challenged, but usually the court throws out petitions from the opposition. But this time around, it's a bit different, because it's a constitutional court now sitting. It's a panel of 5 judges. And when they did not dismiss the petition last week of opposition, that gave a signal that the judges also want to show that they are independent, and then they also see a chance to redeem the judiciary itself, because people suspected most of the judges, since they are appointed by the president, they all favor the government. But this time around, there's this sense that this is a chance to redeem themselves and make a ruling that will justify that they're speaking for the people. So it has never happened. If it ever happened, it would be unprecedented in Malawi, and I think in the region as well.
All right. Well, Mabvuto, we're going to have to leave it there, but hopefully we can catch up with you again next week when these planned protests are scheduled. Thanks so much indeed for your update. That's Malawian journalist Mabvuto Banda speaking to us on the line from Lilongwe in Malawi.